Hello, my loves. So, on the channel right now, we are having a conversation around spiritual initiation. Okay. So, if you haven't watched the latest video that I posted, I want to encourage you to go back and watch that video. You don't have to watch it before this one, but I would encourage you to definitely put that in your queue. Okay. So, we're currently talking about spiritual initiation. That's what Spirit has me having a conversation around right now. So, just a little recap. In that video, I spoke about how the invitation for the collective right now at this point in time is the invitation is being extended for us to move through this process of initiation. The invitation is being extended for us to nurture ourselves into this new space that we are being called into. Okay. And I also stated that in that video, whenever I refer to the collective, I am referring to those of us who, the collective as a whole, yes, but Spirit really had me clarifying that I am referring to the collective as far as those of us who have the awareness, whether it's a little awareness or a lot of awareness, but for those of us who are coming into, who are grounding into, who are centering ourselves into the awareness that we are more than what we have allowed ourselves to believe. Okay. For many of us, for most of our lives, we have been subjected to this human experience. Okay. We have been subjected to this human experience. All we have known is this human experience. All we have seen as being real is this human experience. Okay. But many of us are coming into the understanding, we've been doing the work so that we can, we've been doing the work in order to open ourselves up to the fact that this human experience that we've been doing the work to open ourselves up to the fact, to ground into the understanding that we do not end with this human experience, that this human experience is not the end all be all. Okay, we've been opening ourselves up to the understanding, to accepting and understanding that we are eternal beings. Okay, and I also spoke about how the reason why we are moving through this spiritual initiation, right? And spiritual initiation, let's not look at it as being a one-time thing, right? This isn't the first time that you've experienced or gone through a spiritual initiation, right? You may not have known at that particular point in time that you are going through a spiritual initiation, but that is what is happening right now. And right now, what we're doing is we're bringing our attention to that process. Okay. In the past, we may have been moving through the spiritual initiation, but just really unaware that there was an initiation taking place. Right. And so I spoke about that. The part of the reason why we are moving through this particular initiation and what we can kind of expect as we come out on the other side is that we will have is that we will find ourselves being more grounded in the awareness that we are more than what we have allowed ourselves to believe, that we are a manifestation, a direct reflection of the source of all that is, right? Of the source of life that flows through us, that we are the life force energy. Okay. And so as we're moving through this initiation, we are going to become more familiar with that wisdom and with that understanding. We are going to ground even further into that understanding, and we will begin to experience that understanding making a difference for us in our lives, right? So in the past, we've probably experienced, we've probably tasted, we've probably seen glimpses of this power and how it can move in our lives and change situations in our lives, right? We've had experiences, we've had glimpses, we've tasted a little bit, but we haven't been consistent in allowing that power that lives within us, that is us. We haven't been consistent in giving that power the space to really do the work in our lives. Okay, and so this process of initiation is happening so that we can, I'm hearing, essentially it's happening. Okay. So essentially this process of spiritual initiation that we are currently being invited to move through is happening so that we can rid ourselves of the false pretenses, okay? So that we can really shake off. Okay, and I'm hearing that Taylor Swift. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, but I am hearing that song in my head, Shake It Off, Shake It Off, okay? So we're moving through this process of initiation so that we can finally shake off the false pretenses, right? And so a part of that is you're going to find yourself, as you're moving throughout this spiritual initiation over the next few months, you're going to find yourself really taking more accountability in ways that you haven't really taken accountability in the past, right? So, and here's what I mean by that. So you can see, you have been able to see in the past that this action has led to this result. Okay? You've been able to see that in the past. But there's been a disconnect in this action leads to this result. This action leads to this result, right? And so living in the patterns, living in the loops, right? You can see the loops, you can feel yourself in them, but now you're basically as you're moving throughout this spiritual initiation, you're going to be taking a pair of scissors and it's like you're going to be cutting the loop. So this is the loop, the circle, you're inside of it. You're going to be creating an opening for yourself, okay? And when I say you are going to be creating an opening for yourself, your inner authority, as you're moving throughout this process of initiation, your inner authority is going to be creating opportunities for you to your inner authority is going to be creating openings for you. Okay. So as you're moving throughout the next few months, pay attention to the conversations that you have, the interactions that you have with people, the things that you give yourself permission to do. Not everything needs your attention. Not every event needs you to attend it. Okay, so really pay attention to what you say yes to. Okay, and if you feel the nudge to say no, say no. Okay, if you can feel, because here's the thing with this process of spiritual initiation taking place, you will feel the nudge. If there is a thing and you find yourself, you feel this nudge to follow, to give yourself permission to see about this thing, whatever it may be, whether it's a relationship, an experience, an opportunity, whatever it is, an event, whatever it is, you will feel that nudge because it will play a role in the process of this initiation that's taking place. Okay? If the answer is no, if you feel, no, I shouldn't make this decision, no, that's not the right decision, no, I shouldn't engage in this conversation, or no, I shouldn't go to this place. If you feel that the answer is no and you ignore it, your spirit, there will be consequences. Okay, there will be consequences. And the consequences, in the past, usually the consequences, they're not as quick. Sometimes they are, sometimes they have been, but the consequences for you ignoring that no will be quick. Okay, they will be quick. So you really want to be paying attention to your inner authority. Okay, something that I've been meditating over the past few days, and I was going to record a video on it, but I decided not to. It wasn't time. I said, let me meditate over this a little bit more. So the conversation that I was meditating over, and let me get this journal. Is it in this journal? I have so many journals, y'all. Get you a journal, okay? If you don't have a journal, having a journal and writing over these next few months is going to be important. So let me find, I know I wrote this in, I have so many journals, it's crazy, but I know I wrote this in this journal right here, maybe. So, yep, here it is right here. So I wrote, and this was on August 8th, I was meditating, and here's what happened. So I was sitting at that space right there. I lit my candles, I had my incense going, and I was sitting at that space and I was praying, meditating. And what I realized and what came to me is this idea, or this conversation, this idea to have a conversation about coming to the altar. Okay, this analogy of the altar call. Okay, if you grew up in church, or if you know anything about church, you know that some churches, at the end of services, they'll have an altar call where if you need prayer, if you need support, whatever it is you need, you can come to the altar and they'll pray for you, they'll support you, you can say what you need to say, whatever's on your mind or on your heart, you can speak it, right, during this time. And so now, right, this was on August 8th, 10 days later, 11 days later, this conversation is bringing me to this idea of the altar, okay? And I'm going to break from that because I'm going to break from that for a couple of minutes, and we'll come back to it. So, the altar call. Okay, so as you're moving through this spiritual initiation, as you're moving through this process of spiritual initiation, one of the things that you really want to be mindful about, okay, and I'm trying to see I'm trying to see the words that want to be said about coming to the altar, about the altar call, because that's essentially what this spiritual initiation is. This spiritual initiation is an altar call, okay? This is your inner authority, the life force energy that dwells within you, that dwells within everything, okay? That dwells within all of us, right? The life force energy, the source of all that is, that power that dwells within you, is extending the invitation for you to come to the altar, okay? For you to let go of, for you to lay down, okay, what is no longer, and I'm saying what is no longer serving you, but what is really beneath you, okay? Because one of the notes that I did write in my journal, as far as this conversation is concerned, is you've been living below your means, okay? You've been living below your means. And let's find, I'm telling you, see, organized chaos with these journals. That's what I have going on right here. But I have a journal for whenever I'm at work. I have a journal for, whenever. So this spiritual initiation is going to move you out of the space of living below your means. And what that means, it's not living below, oh, here it is right in front of me. It's not living below your means in regards to financial, money or whatever it is. It's regarding your God-given potential. Okay? And so these are, when you come to the altar, it's you taking out the time to identify what you're holding on to that has been causing you to live below your means. Okay, what beliefs, what false pretenses, what judgments about life, what judgments about yourself, what judgments about other people are you holding on to that is causing you to live below your means, right? And so this spiritual initiation it's really about reconnecting with your inner authority and allowing that inner authority. Here we are, we're back to it. I knew I would come back to it. It's really about reconnecting with your inner authority and allowing your inner authority to take the lead. So whenever I was speaking of coming to the altar, it's you coming to the altar and bowing down to essentially your inner authority. This life force energy that lives within you. In religion, the word that is used, and in our world, the word that is used is God. But as I'm saying that out loud, even that doesn't feel as that word for me personally. And even as I'm saying it, and maybe even for you too, that word doesn't feel as expansive as what that energy and power is. But we know that power, that energy dwells within us. It is us. It is the very makeup of who we are, right? So there will be moments throughout this process of spiritual initiation where you will very clearly see and realize, this is my inner authority. My inner authority is asking me to come to the altar right now. My inner authority is asking me to come to the altar right now. And in those moments, you will notice, you will be able to identify, depending on your reaction, depending on your response in those moments, you'll be able to identify and notice what your relationship is really like with your inner authority, with that life force energy that lives within you. You'll begin to realize and identify how you really feel about that power, about that energy that lives within you, that dwells within you, that is you. Okay? So, with that being said, you are not seeing yourself as separate and apart from that power. because oftentimes, especially if you grew up in a religion and you've kind of separated from that and you're trying to find your own way, in religion, we are taught to separate ourselves from God. We are taught to see God as separate and apart from us. So then as we grow older, we don't have a healthy relationship with that power, with that energy. And this is what the spiritual initiation is all about, is for you to develop a more healthy relationship with that power that dwells within you, that lives within everything you can see and cannot see. That is you. That's what this process of spiritual initiation is all about. Okay? It's really all about helping you ground into that awareness, to ground even deeper into that awareness. Because as you ground even deeper into that awareness, you are going to begin to, no doubt, you are going to begin to change your life with the snap of your fingers. Right? And you know this. If you know this, you have the awareness that that is possible, that all you have to do is speak a word and the shit will change. It will shift on your behalf because you spoke the word. And you know that when I'm saying you, I'm not referring to this character that you are that will cease to exist when you pass on. I'm speaking to that power that dwells within you. You know, you have the knowledge that all you have to do is speak a word. All you have to do is think a thought. And that thought that you think, that word that you speak, will create change. You have the awareness that every thought, every word that you speak is creating favorable change or unfavorable change. So this process of spiritual initiation is also inviting you to be more aware of what you think, of what you speak, so that you can begin to create the change that you desire. Okay? So I did say in that first video that I posted, which was it last night? Yeah. Well, I'm saying last night as if you know what last night was. But so the first video that I posted, I did say that I would be posting more videos around this conversation as it comes through. Okay. And so, yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I thought that this conversation was going to be about one thing, and it ended up not really being about anything that I had in mind, but what has come through has just come through. And so I feel like Spirit is going to have me meditate on this other thing a little bit more, and then I'll bring, I know I'm definitely going to bring it to the table, but we're just going to sit with it a little bit more. So, yeah, so this process of spiritual initiation is just all about taking responsibility and taking accountability in a new way, right? And relying on this inner authority to help you do that, right? To help you really create the change that wants to be created through you. Okay, that wants to be created through you. This change has already occurred, right? In a different reality, in a different time space reality, it's already occurred, and now it wants to flow through you. And so this spiritual initiation is giving you an opportunity to give up some things so that that change can begin to flow through you. All right. So if you have any thoughts, if you have any questions, anything, make sure you leave it in the comments. If you haven't subscribed yet, I want to invite you to subscribe. I love you all so very much. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for doing the work. Thank you for doing the work, because as you do the work, as you shift, as you transcend, as you evolve, as you expand, the world is benefiting. All right? The world is benefiting. I'll see y'all next time.